What's up guys, Easton Fothergill here. I got the Strike King crew with me out here on the Coosa River. We're going over the tactics, mechanics, and the strategy on how to catch suspended fish. We already did a video on how to set up my electronics and how to find the fish, but now we're going to go over how to actually catch those fish once I see them on the forward-facing sonar. In this video, we'll go over the tactics. We'll talk about what I do exactly when I see a fish on my forward-facing sonar, how I set up the boat, and how I actually make my precise cast when I actually see a fish. So my setup when I see these fish on the forward-facing sonar, this is a 7-foot medium Lew's Elite rod. It's a Lew's Custom Light reel, 300 size. Use Strike King 2er grade braid, 8-pound to a 12-pound contra leader. So the strategy, this LiveScope bite is the best fall to winter time period. That's when they really get keyed in on the shad and they really start to suspend and they really chase shad all winter long. In terms of time today, afternoon is always best. You know, when the sun gets high, it really gets those shad positioned right, and in turn, the bass are much easier to catch when the shad is up high, and you can see them really good on my forward-facing sonar. So it's afternoon right now, and hopefully we can go catch a couple for you guys. So when targeting these suspended fish, it can be super tempting to just cast at them as soon as you see them, but what I found is best is you see them on my screen here, they're 60 to 80 feet out. And I like to just sit here and look at them for a second just to see what direction they're swimming and just, you know, size and all that. And it just makes it a lot easier to make a pinpoint cast. Because if you throw at them as soon as you see them, you know, you really don't know what exactly is happening. So right here, there's a big giant ball of bait, obviously. And if I go to the little bit to the right of them, you can see those individual fish in the middle of the bait ball there. And they got a little bit of a pocket right there in the middle. So when you see this, what you want to do is you want to get your bait right in the middle of that pocket if you possibly can. You see my bait going down into the shad there. You just kind of, when it's like this, you have to just visualize where your bait is because there's so much shad that you can't see your individual bait. Now they're on top of the shad, so if I can make a good shot here, I should be able to get them. Here we go. Got him. Like I said, that fish catch was all about timing there. I saw him in the middle of that shad. I tried to get it in the little pocket in the shad, but I missed. And then those fish left the shad and they actually came to the boat. So I basically dropped under the trolling motor and was able to get them. So, but I was throwing that 1/4 ounce and I upped it to the 3/8 ounce Z2, and these fish are moving so fast that I don't think I would be able to hit them with that 1/4 ounce head. So it's just all about gauging the fish and how fast they're going, and it's all about reading your electronics based on, you know, that'll tell you what bait to throw. So when throwing a minnow, I always want to throw the lightest head I possibly can, just because I think when you get too heavy of a minnow, it doesn't float right in the water and it's not as natural as it could be. So I always throw the lightest head I can get away with. But these fish, they're swimming so fast that I can't even hit them with that 1/4 ounce head. I have to up to a 3/8 ounce head. And, you know, I'm trying to, you know, float it in the water as natural as I can, but it gets harder with that heavy head. So and when you're doing this, you got to play with your head size. Like, you got to get to, there's a happy medium always of, you know, you can hit the fish, but it's still natural. You just got to find that happy medium every day. A good one. Largemouth. Another thing I like to do when doing this, you know, I've mentioned multiple times how fast these fish are swimming, and you got to be really accurate with, you know, your forward facing. You got to be able to hit your target exactly where you want in order to hit these fish. And one trick I like to do is I use a really short fluorocarbon leader, just because I want that knot going through my guides as little as possible, because every time that knot hits your guides, you know, it can alter where your cast is going. It can change the direction of your bait. So I use about a 1-foot-long leader, just because I really think that makes it more accurate. I always use a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader to an 8-pound braid. But that's just another thing I tweak a little bit. I think it's different than a lot of people, is a super short fluorocarbon leader when doing this. So here's a fish coming at 55 feet. He's pretty high up, so I want to make sure I throw past him here. My bait just landed at 60 feet. There it's going down. Nice. Missed him there. Now he's going down on me, so it's not as crucial if I land it, you know, right on his head. Now he's come back up. Got him. But when I first saw him there, I wanted to make sure not to throw it right on top of his head because most likely would have spooked. But then he dove down briefly, and then I just let him a little bit and swam it by him, and he came up and smoked it. So, but that's a general rule of thumb. When they're up super high, basically on the surface, you don't want to land it right on top of them. It'll kind of scare them. But when they're cruising in that, you know, 10 to 15 foot range, you can land it right on top of them and it'll sink down, and hopefully they'll see it and come up and smash it. So there it is, guys. I just taught you a little bit on how to target the LiveScope fish once you actually see them on your forward-facing sonar, boat position, you know how to make the cast and everything. You can catch this video on the Next Level Spotlight series on the Kings of Bass YouTube channel.